Scarlett, Tracy, hello and welcome. It is such a pleasure to sit down and have the time just to catch up. This is one of my favourite interviews at Money20.
Oh, thank you.
It really is, because I know how busy you are. And talking of busy, congratulations, baby number 2.
Thank you.
Well done, Scarlett. When's the baby due, Scarlett?
August 1st, 8 weeks, so right around the corner. This will be the last time I'm on a plane for a while.
Wow. And of course, last year we were talking about your other baby, your book. How's that still going?
It's going well. It got transcribed to a handful of languages, and as you said, that was my baby last year with my energy and focus, and now is my time for my human baby number 2.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
So moving on to the show, Tracy, the energy is just electric. How do you do it? And it's all driven by the content. How do you continually keep everybody motivated to have that innovation and to reimagine the content every year? That must be a challenge.
Yeah, it is the challenge, and we do like to reinvent the show. I mean, obviously, as you know, we are the place where business gets done. So at the heart of everything we do is the meetings and the connecting and, you know, all of that. But as you know, that we put a wrapper around it, a fun wrapper. I mean, I don't know if you've met our robot stage or been out to Money Beach, you know, all new things this year. You know, the elements of doing business, fantastic content and great experiences is the formula. And that runs through all of our shows, you know, Vegas here and obviously, you know, the new one in Bangkok next year. But within that, we like to change it up every year. So, you know, it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of fun, come on. There are, you know, let's be honest, there are a lot worse jobs out there than reinventing the whole of a fabulous show like this. So we have a team who do that, but, you know, we do it with the lens very much about bringing the industry together and serving what they need to do business. That is what it's about. I know it's a load of fun and, you know, money robots and all of that kind of stuff, but at the heart of it is a very, very serious premise, and then there's a load of fun around the outside.
You do convene the industry, and it is the biggest FinTech show on the planet. So how would you come up with those content themes then? That's what I'm curious about. There must be a lot of prep, a lot of thinking. What themes do you go for? Which themes don't make the mark? Do you get your highlighter pen and strike them out? How do you do it?
So there's a lot of thought and planning and process that goes into that. So to your comment earlier about the size and the scale, we have over 8,000 people with us from across the industry here for the course of the next 3 days from nearly 90 countries. So that's a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different people coming together and really having amazing conversations. But to your point, so right after this, I mean, quite literally, the team will have a little bit of a rest, and then the Europe team, who's focused on the Europe content, will be taking some time, and then they start doing heavy, they get into their research phase. So they spend the rest of the summer in like deep due diligence mode, and one of the things that we've made a big shift, Helen, obviously you've been with us for many years, but we made a shift in the last 2 years and invested heavily in FinTech talent in our content team. So we talk about being by the industry for the industry, and that is reflected in the people who are putting together our agenda all day, every day. Ex-analysts, journalists, bankers, VC. One of the members of our new Asia content team just came out of a venture capital fund. So we do a lot of people who are doing this all day, every day. And then they go out and they talk to people that they know, and then we always push them and push the boundaries around that. So we have the high-level themes put together quite early, by let's say September for the Europe show, and we make sure that they are broad enough that a lot of different pieces can be applicable to them, but that then we have the ability to hone in and get more specific over time, because as you know, where we were last year when we were sitting here having this conversation with you, there are some things that are going to continue to happen, and we'll talk about version 2 of it and stuff that's quite fresh, so we always have a place for both.
I gave a shout out to some of your team that I've worked with. It's been an absolute pleasure working with them. And you listed some of the talents and that you have in your team, and the journalistic talent. When you are putting together content, that came through loud and clear. We were planning the open banking, open finance work stream, and you know, it was that drive, that hunger for a story and that fresh story. Tracy, you're going to add to what Scarlett has just shared with us, please.
Yeah, you know, Scarlett obviously outlined the months and months ahead prep that come. You talked about the calls. But then, you know, other stuff gets arranged very close to the show. So I think literally as we are sitting here, Ian Stewart from HSBC is talking about the acquisition of Silicon Valley Bank, obviously the UK on, and what that means for startups, and that's a really important question. That happened very few weeks ago.
That's a coup.
And that has to get added in. Yeah, I mean it is
coup.
the first public place that they and he have spoken about what happened that weekend. We'll watch it back because we're here talking to you, Helen. But that stuff gets added late. You can't plan everything months out, so it's a combination of planning months out and then having to react in a short time when stuff happens. Right, we have to reflect everything. And as Scarlett said, 200 sessions, right? We can't do them all the week before, but a good proportion of them, have to be reactive because this industry just moves so fast, as you know.
I'll watch the HSBC and SVB one as well because we were involved with that behind the scenes. We worked in rallying the community together to signpost them. Yeah, it was incredible actually how the industry came together for that. It really was the very, very best of FinTech. It was. Yeah. So just moving on, Scarlett. Talk to us about the themes that you're hearing for content. What's new? What's hot?
Yeah, so there's a lot that's new, there's a lot that's the same, right? So on the one hand, I would say let's focus on your baby, open banking. That's not new. It's always hot, right? It's always in style. Trust me, Helen, you're always in style. But with us,
thank you.
Even open banking is not a new concept, but the way that we're approaching it this year is going to be slightly different. So you did talk about your session this morning. I have to give you a shout out because we have a lot of data on the back end, and one of the things that people can do when they go on the app is they can favorite the sessions that they want to see. And actually building up, but even up until last night, you were one of the top 3 most favorited sessions, a session on open banking this morning, which is a testament to how important the topic still is, even though we've been talking about it for a number of years. The other thing that we do is we reimagine how and when people digest that content. So again, something like open banking, open finance, such a broad topic. We had a open workshop this morning for 2 hours where the community, we talked about the number of people who were here from all different backgrounds, all different countries, come together and collectively think about some of these issues. Now what's so cool about it is a lot of people, because of the business that gets done here, don't have the time that they would necessarily want to go spend 2 hours deep diving in open banking. A few definitely do. If you miss that, you could go scan the QR code and get all that information sent to you. Right. So you really get to know what's happening, which is really nice. And then again, on the open banking piece for a second, we'll go into what's happening later this afternoon on the Encore stage. We have Eric from the European Commission, and the European Commission is going to talk about their stance on open banking and the regulation around that, which is going to be really great. So that's one theme that's here to stay, and it's going to continue to evolve over time. Obviously, another big thing that comes around that is the regulatory impact around that. Yeah, so on the open banking piece, like I said, there's regulation is another thing that comes alongside that. You're going to see this regulation theme across the shows this year. You can't not. Obviously, Tracy just talked about the Ian Stewart HSBC thing, what's happening across the pond over in the U.S. We've already announced some big regulators coming to the U.S. stage. We have some really good ones over in Asia, so that's another kind of central thing. And then I'd say more broadly, and Tracy and I have talked about this a lot, again, not a new concept, but definitely like the hot one now around AI. So we are looking at that and dissecting that from 16 different angles. The ethical implications of AI, real use cases with some of the biggest banks in the world, deep diving into how they're actually thinking about doing this, and then the theory. So depending on how and where you want to look at it, we have something for everyone as it relates to that as well.
So there really is always something for everybody at Money 2020, but I just want to change gear and talk about one topic that I know is close to all of our hearts, and that's diversity. I know that Money 2020 really do champion female inclusivity. What are you doing this year around it?
Well, this year's 5 years, believe it or not, since Rise Up was launched, our Female Accelerator Programme, and so gender diversity was our first sort of topic, but we've moved on, obviously through that into the work that we do with Amplify, our programme for people of colour, and this year we're trialling quite a lot. This is our first fully accessible show, and we're trying some technology with mobile phones for neurodiverse and people with hearing issues. So we're constantly thinking about inclusion of everyone in our shows and in the conversation. So it is broader, but you're right, we started with gender. I think 46% of our stages or speakers are women this year, so that will be our highest percentage. And we've been on that journey for a number of years, and I think tomorrow I'm interviewing 4 alumni. Wednesday I'm interviewing 4 alumni who went through the Rise Up program, including one from the very first cohort in Vegas in 2018, about their story. And so we're really wanting to bring that life. But you're right, the diversity, all forms of diversity, the inclusivity of everyone in the conversation here at all of our shows is really important to us, and we continue to champion that.
And I'll give you a bit of a shout out. So Becky, who leads on our PR, you have really supported Becky here. She has her little chariot, so we're driving forward inclusion. She hasn't mowed anybody down yet, but no, seriously, you've made it so welcoming for her to have the confidence to actually come to a vast event like this, and that means a lot. It really does. So not only do you talk it, you actually, you walk the walk. So I just wanted to give you a shout out. So finally, one last big theme: ESG. What are you doing to save the planet, Scarlett?
I think Tracy she had a great ESG conversation this morning. So why don't you take the first pass on that, and I can add anything in between.
I interviewed Lily Cole this morning on the Encore stage. So obviously known as a model, but now originally known to us all as a model, but she's a filmmaker, she's an author, so she's just written the book called Who Cares Wins, and she's an environmental activist. Yeah. And you might think, well, why would you bring Lily Cole to Money 2020? But I think that we're seeing this real intersection between climate tech. We've got the Strike Frontier initiative on carbon capture and those programs, carbon removal. So I think you're seeing this intersection, and I know Scarlett can talk to you about Europe's got access. So we have our startup competition. We did it in America. We're doing it here this year with a climate theme. So we are seeing a collision of climate and fintech. So it is, it's always been a part of our show, but I would say definitely this year we are really seeing that, and now a lot of climate tech startups on the intersection into fintech. But Scarlett, it's been your other baby, Europe's got access. You've got so many babies.
Too many babies. I don't know how to handle them all. No. But really, I think part of it was we spent a lot of time, and we continuously spent a lot of time listening to what the audience wants. We do that through both quantitative and qualitative ways. And so one of the pieces of feedback that we got last year at the Europe show was wanting more climate content, ESG content. We had it, but clearly it wasn't loud and big enough, so we made sure that everything from the Encore stage to other moments were about that. So for Europe's Got Access, one of the things that Tracy and I care a lot about, obviously startups are one of the very core parts of our ecosystem. And whatever we can do to help accelerate, advance, empower, and grow those companies, we want to help do that. So we partnered with the venture fund in Commerce Ventures, where the winner, and for Europe, we focused on climate because of all the aforementioned reasons. We selected 5 finalists. We had a panel full of VC judges and others, people from within the industry, to help us get to that list of 5. And then whoever wins gets a $100,000 safe note from Commerce, which is really, for us, it's about how do we fundamentally help move the needle. And we know funding, depending on where you're looking in the world, is a little bit more of a challenge now. So if we can help be the facilitator of that next level of growth for someone, it makes us feel really good, and it's good for the industry in general.
Wow, we could talk all day, and I know how busy you both are. So just to wrap things up, in a sentence, what do you want everybody's big takeaway to be, Tracy, this year?
Well, that is the one-liners are always much harder. I think where money does business. I mean, that is what we're about, the place where money does business. So I want people, we're seeing record number of meetings, brokered through the app. We're seeing record number of startups. And so for us, it's people going away, having got what they needed, met who they didn't know they needed to meet, but they've met them and met who they wanted to meet. All of that, that is really important to us, that people come here and they achieve what they want to achieve. So for me, it's always about that.
Where money does business. Scarlett, your bit, yeah.
So Tracy has all the great business ones, so I'll do the emotive experience side, which is there are Easter eggs everywhere. So spend time looking around the floor.
Not chocolate ones. I mean, not literally.
But there is chocolate.
Oh, there is chocolate. There's chocolate out on the show floor.
But there's not chocolate Easter eggs. But there are Easter eggs.
We'll hunt it down. Don't you worry.
There are donuts everywhere, but quite literally, the amount of food, the type of food, anything that you could want is here. But then we really, really invest in those experiential moments because one of the things that Tracy was saying is yes, business gets done here, but at the end of the day, all of us are still human beings, and sometimes that really works well in the Connections Lounge, and that place is on fire, but other times, we're both tired, we want to go sit outside for a little bit, we could go have a meeting on a pedalo right now. So we really focus on that level of detail because we want people to connect in ways that is authentic and natural and just feels good, because really wherever you are, that could be that moment. So if it's at our night parties, it's at our day parties, it's over a donut, it's over a cocktail, like we have it all. So the Easter eggs are what I would say is the takeaway.
Which is why Money20 is the biggest FinTech show on the planet. Scarlett, Tracy, it's been an absolute pleasure, and good luck in August, Scarlett.
Thank you.
Are you going to be back here next year?
Oh yeah, I'll be in Vegas.
She's coming back.
Yeah. I'll be in Vegas. So.
Yeah, because I remember you bringing your little one. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes a lot. He didn't come this year because I got to go directly back. But I'll be back, and maybe both of them will be in Vegas in October. We'll see.
Well, I can't wait to see you both next year. Thank you very, very, very much.